And we are live for another episode of the Truth Tribe podcast, this time with a very special guest, the co-founder of Naturemary, Kapil Kalra. Kapil, thanks for taking the time today.
Ravi, thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation. So, Kapil, where I thought we would start this conversation is where I start pretty much all of my conversations. It's a very simple yet a complicated question, but it helps me set the context as we progress along. So my first question to you is, how do you define success in your personal or professional life?
Great question. Honestly, growing up through different aspects of different stages of my life, I now define success much differently than I used to. I think when I was younger, success was the gold watch and the nice car and the big house. Now I'd have to say after 35, I'm 43 now, but after 35, I think success really for me has become how successful you are with your family, your friends. Can people tolerate you? Do they like hanging out with you? I think that's the level of success that we all hope to attain at a certain point in life. But yeah, success it's a fully loaded question. I still obviously want the nice things that come with hard work. But at the end of the day, I think success is really built on the measure of who you are as a human being and what impact you're having.
That's very well said, and I can totally relate to that. And I agree. It's an ever-changing definition to where you are in your life. You have a new definition of success. So a follow-up to what I just asked. So if I have to ask you who your role models or inspirations are in your professional life, in your personal life, who would that be and why?
Role models for me is really tough. I find aspects of things that I look up to in a lot of people in terms of little things here and there. Honestly, I think that understanding what it takes to be a role model to somebody else is where I find strength. And I look at that inward. I honestly look at myself and I always tell myself that what would I expect, or what would my son expect, or what the next generation would expect. And I think that's what I look at in terms of being an inspirational role model. I don't really have, outside of maybe some sports stars, there's some guys that are it's very defined in their segment. You look at a sports guy and say, hey, that's an inspiration, but what have they done behind the scenes? Yeah, honestly, I kind of look inward when it comes to that. And sometimes that maybe not selfish, but maybe egotistical to some people. But I think that if you understand what it takes to be a role model and what people expect of you, you can carry that forward to be that person. Yeah, I think outside of my dad was a very hard worker. He definitely instilled a lot of hard work in me and understanding what that was.
You said it perfectly there. So I'm going to take a hard left turn from there. And where I want to go is actually ironic but interesting for two men to be discussing. But what I want to know is, can you please explain what is PMDD and the relation to PMDD with Naturemary? There's a backstory there. So if you want to let my audiences know and myself, what is the backstory and what is PMDD?
Absolutely. I will start with talking about Sonia. So Sonia is my wife, co-founder of Naturemary with me and our CEO. Sonia, since the age of 13, has lived with a condition called PMDD. It's post-menstrual dysphoric disorder. For the women listeners, they understand, and I think for some of the men listeners too, understanding what PMS is, where when women cycle monthly, there's a very large hormonal imbalance. What PMDD is really 100 times that. So essentially the effects of anxiety, debilitating pain. There's a lot of things that come with just the body shutting down. It is a hormonal imbalance, and it affects less than 6% of women. That's been documented around the world. So essentially, what would happen every month with Sonia is when she would have time, she would be bedridden. So she'd be in excruciating pain, anxiety, depression, a lot of bad side effects with the chronic condition. And that was really the reason why we started Naturemary. So Sonia discovered CBD in about 2016, 2017, in the middle of one of her attacks. I actually had some CBD capsules that I had in a container of mine that had been sitting there for a long time. And so I gave her one. And right away, she noticed that within 5 minutes, she was able to get her hearing back. Her slurred speech was gone. Some of her pain had subsided. And she's a biologist and a neuroscientist. So in her mind, she's like, what did this do in my brain? So she has a very heavy research background. She graduated from Dalhousie University as a biologist. And this opened up this large rabbit hole of discovery. And so she discovered that there was different receptors and different motor neurons that were happening in her brain. And they were obviously affected by some of these plant compounds. So that was really the beginning, the discovery of Naturemary with the condition that Sonia lives with.
When I was researching about it, I found that they say you find solutions when you are in a hole, when you Absolutely. Have a problem nobody else is ready to solve. So it's Absolutely. Great that you guys took that initiative and took it upon yourself. The name Naturemary, how did you come up with that name? Is there a story behind there?
Yeah, so Naturemary. So Sonia's middle name is Mary. Her grandmother's name was Mary. Sonia was born Catholic Indian in Mumbai. And so her maiden name is Sonia Mary Dawson. And so when we started Naturemary, obviously nature, natural plant compounds, natural formulations, staying true and clean. I think we live in such an environment where we're constantly bombarded with chemicals, different environmental stressors, that natural was obviously a main focus for Sonia. And then obviously Mary being her middle name. So Naturemary kind of flowed. It felt good. Our logo actually is the tree of life. So it's full circle for us. But yeah, Sonia did, we named the company in honor of her, obviously her middle name, but in honor of her grandmother, who also was a natural remedy sort of person who believed in, the plants and spices and everything around her from nature. So that's how the name came.
I love that story, and what a way to honor your grandparents there.
Absolutely.
So just what you said there, and I was on your website when I was looking at as well, you described Naturemary as a biological-based company, a base body company.
Absolutely.
Could you elaborate on what that approach means? How do you stay true to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Sonia being a biologist and a neuroscientist, understanding what certain compounds do in our body and how our body interacts with them. We really wanted to come from the perspective of biology first, where our body understands what it's taking in. It should understand what it's taking in. Oftentimes when you go to the doctor and you get a prescription for a medication, the first thing that they talk about are the long list of side effects. And side effects are normal. We have allergies to even natural things, and that's normal. Mm-hmm. But creating blends and processes that the body understands was the first mission of the company. So being biology based first, so you'll see biology based body care. It's really so we create these formulations so the body understands how to receive them, and obviously not create additional processes in the body where the body might be able to process food or a pharmaceutical. The body processes these things and it has trouble, and that's why we end up with these side effects. Being a biology-based body care company first allows our cells to understand what we're giving them and why we're giving them to it and processing it. The least amount of processing is really the main focus.
That's lovely. Question to you on that. So obviously Sonia was going through some conditions and she wanted to find a solution, which with your CBD cream, she did see hope coming in. So from there to then going to market, how did you validate that there is a market opportunity to create a product line on there and then go and serve other people? How did you come to that conclusion? What were the steps that you took to get to there?
Yeah, great question. So there was quite a lot of R&D to happen in the beginning. We are really pain relief focused now. And being an alternative to CBD company, using plant terpenes, I'll get into that a little bit later. But our main focus essentially was natural healing and what type of healing we can bring to market. When we first started, we launched a line of body care products. So there was more the beauty side with a wellness aspect. And what we realized was that our target customer and our target demographic was really focused on wellness, but really didn't understand the aspect of it within body care and beauty products. And we did this for one of two reasons. So the first reason is I come from a very large scale wholesale background. And so understanding market penetration, building a brand, a lot of this was new to me. I typically dealt with the B2B side, not so much the B2C side where it's business to consumer. And that took that was a bit of a learning curve for me, for sure. When we first came out, we brought these body care products on. It was a lot less stringent in terms of the rules around Health Canada. You're a cosmetic rated product opposed to a natural health product. And there were a lot of things that we wanted to bring to market, but obviously took some time. Sonia and I sat down. We said, you know what? Let's focus on building the line out. Let's build the brand. Let's understand what the distribution model looks like. Let's understand what the retailers' expectations are. And then we can slowly start working on our science and then bring out our pain relief products. And the better part of 2021, 2022 was a lot of that experimentation. There's a lot of investing in our retail partners, understanding what the distribution model looked like. And then from there, while Sonia was working on the science in the background, applying for the natural health product numbers for our products, that's where we pivoted. So we pivoted more from the wellness, natural health to more the OTC, over-the-counter pharmacy, as well as certain select channels that we're very specialty channels. We're very strong in duty-free. We're very strong in a lot of other places that are not conventional for a lot of our types of products. So yeah, market analysis at that point really started with just building a brand. We just wanted to build a brand, get out there, get some name recognition, and then really bring the value proposition that we present to the market. And that's what we did. So we went a little bit backwards where companies would obviously spend a lot of time in R&D, research, bring out the products that they want to bring to the market. We did a little bit of an opposite thing where, I wanted to understand the market, and we did a bit of a test with that. And then now understanding the market and what our segment is, who our target consumer is, we've switched gears a little bit with the pain relief, and obviously switched gears with the focus on what retailers will be carrying us. Yeah, it was a long and expensive road, those 2 years, to understand that. We feel 2024 was really the beginning. It was like the rebirth of our company, the beginning of it. Again, really being targeted on pain relief, understanding who our core customer is, and then how to market to them. So that's what has emerged 2024. And now having all of that set, 2025 is going to be a very big year for us. So we're very excited about that.
I'm excited to see what you guys are going to accomplish there. Just to double click on there, whose idea was it to launch Naturemary? Was it you? Was it Sonia?
So again, it came out of the health need for Sonia. I am an entrepreneur at the core of my heart, and I'm a sales guy. So I look at opportunity from that angle. With my previous business, there was never a mission behind what I was doing. I was selling computers and consumer electronics. I had very large contracts with a lot of government agencies, Walmart US, Costco US. We used to buy back a lot of their return inventory. We'd process it and sell it. So there was no real mission. It was, here's a commodity, here's the margin, and let's go sell it. Starting Naturemary, I never understood what it took to build a brand. And what I realized is that it wasn't so much the benefits of what we were going to bring to the market, but it was the mission. It was the why. And I think that once we realized what that mission was and what that why was, being rooted in Sonia's story, we better understood sort of what we were going to bring to the market. It wasn't really something that we thought, for me, it was more, okay, how do we scale? How do we build this company? We initially started as a CBD brand, and being inside a regulated market didn't make any sense. The scalability aspect of it was not there. So there were some pivots there in terms of what I had to present to Sonia, because I told her, I said, CBD is great, but I said, how do we scale this to an international brand? So her research pushed her back into understanding the different types of plant compounds, what plant compounds are activating the same receptors as CBD. And that's what was, again, this wormhole just kept getting deeper and deeper, because I think as we sort of identified what our market was, we had to then better identify, what products and what ingredients can we bring to market. Yeah, it was a bit of a mutual thing between us, but we both feel that a lot of the right decisions were made initially, and here we are.
Yeah, and it looks like you are a perfect team. Her being a biologist and you being a sales guy and having that entrepreneurial background, it was a perfect match to get this thing started.
It definitely helps, for sure.
Yeah. So this is a perfect segue where I want to go next. So you mentioned CBD products. Your products also use terpenes, specifically beta-caryophyllene. For our listeners who are maybe not familiar with what terpenes are, can you please shed some light of what terpenes are? How are they used, and why are they crucial to your organization?
Absolutely. So terpenes essentially are the aromatics in spices and herbs. So when you smell a rose, when you smell black pepper, hops, barley, any of these sort of spices and herbs, those are terpenes. So terpenes essentially are in essential oils. They're everywhere. Everything that you're smelling essentially is a terpene profile. And terpenes have they're bioactive, so they have great benefit to our body. So we've isolated one terpene, beta-caryophyllene, like you mentioned, BCP. It's found in cannabis, but also found in things like black pepper, cloves, hops, barley, and it's been in Ayurveda for thousands of years. It's a very known compound. You probably remember when you have a toothache and people would put clove oil or clove on there. That's the BC. That's an aspect of the BCP that's actually activating. That's the anti-inflammatory and the numbing agent. So we've taken BCP and we've created a proprietary blend with that, other terpenes and other essential oils, and a bit of a process. And we've created a thing called bioterpene. So bioterpene is our blend. It's our technology that we're now bringing to market. We're now entering some clinical studies to start, expanding on that a little bit. We're also working on different extraction processes of where we're getting the compound from currently and how we're extracting the compound. But essentially, that's what it is. So the terpenes, we found that BCP is the only dietary cannabinoid. It's closely related to CBD in the fact that it activates the same receptor. So the CB2 receptor in our body, this is going to get a little technical, but essentially what it's doing is it's mimicking or it's activating the same receptor as CBD does. And that was sort of what I was happy with, because now we can scale this brand. We've got the ability to create a proprietary blend, but also not be in a regulated market, which was a big aha moment for us. When Sonia first discovered, when I told her the ultimate task of finding an alternative to CBD, it opened up a big rabbit hole. So she found a dandelion strain in Africa that had a similar compound in it. She found another strain of another plant out of India. But the problem was it was the cost, and it was the extraction, it was the method that we were able to extract, and it just didn't make any sense for us. Yeah, we extract ours from cloves now, and it's quite a complex extraction process, but we've simplified it a little bit, and now we're controlling a lot of aspects when it comes to the extraction as well, as including that in our proprietary blend. So it's been, again, I'm not a scientist, Sonia's a scientist, it's a whole new world of learning for me, but it's exciting. It's amazing what plants can do for us, and everything that we need is on this, it grows out of this earth, and it's there for us, and it's really reliant on people like Sonia taking those studies and building something special with them.
Yeah, I think that's a great story. And when I was researching about it, I was totally fascinated of what alternatives there are. It's pretty cool. And kudos to you and your team to taking that initiative. Can you just tell me, so where are you sourcing these ingredients from today? What does the production look like for you guys? Where are you doing all this production?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey these last few months. Our ingredients are sourced from all around the world. We've got great partners. We've got extraction partners. We've got another facility in Brazil. We've got a partner facility in Asia. We've got another partner facility in Europe. So a lot of our ingredients are sourced from a lot of these different places. And just high standards of quality, extraction processes, testing. We're very stringent on our processes. We're very excited. This year was a big win for us. We opened our very first GMP facility that was licensed by Health Canada. That's actually where I'm sitting right now in our new facility. So we have two facilities right now. We've got one facility that's really focused on the production of our body care products, which we're scaling back on. And then the facility that I'm sitting in now, we've had for about 3.5, 4 months now. And like I said, we've got a lab space here. We've got a production facility here. And it's very exciting because we're able to control the full tier of our manufacturing now, which was a challenge for us before. We were subcontracting and had some co-manufacturers that were helping us prior. It was a nightmare. We had shipments that were showing up with leaky bottles, and we're very stringent, very tight on our QA and our QC. Seeing a lot of that stuff was a big challenge. It was very disheartening. And moreover, it was like, if we don't control the manufacturing aspect of it, we lose a bit of that aspect of controlling the quality. So very proud to say since September, we've opened up our own lab, our own facility here now. And it's been fantastic. We're able to control all our manufacturing, control our quality. And again, with the governance of Health Canada, making sure that we're compliant and everything that we do, it's been such a blessing. So these guys just did another production run of 12,000 units of each SKU, and those are all being shipped out next week. So yeah, it's our quantity's been up, our quality's been up, our costs are coming down. So it's really nice to be able to control that. So it's a big win for us the last 2 quarters of 2024. So we're very excited, very proud, and very excited about next year as well.
That is amazing. And just as a side note, like anyone who has been part of manufacturing, it's not an easy business. Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things out there. And then to scale it, that's like a whole different ballgame on its own. So the fact that you guys are trending in the right direction, that's amazing. And I'm happy to hear that. While going through this process of setting up Naturemary, were there any aha moments as it relates to wellness or as it relates to the natural body products businesses? Was there anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, so interesting question. So what I thought we would see in terms of demand and things like that didn't surprise me. I think that, when you're talking about pain relief, it's a very general thing. 50 million people in North America suffer from arthritis pain. Many people have chronic neuropathy, nerve issues, a lot of different things that people deal with. I think what's surprising more than anything else for us from the marketing standpoint, was identifying our ideal customer profile. And, I think for me, thinking pain relief, I think of the athlete, I think of the old lady, I think of everyone from the young athlete to the elderly. And I quickly realized that was the wrong way of approaching it. You've got to be very concise in terms of who your target is and how you're speaking to them. I think when we started Naturemary, again, it came from a chronic condition that Sonia was dealing with. But I think more than that, we had identified her age, being 40 plus. She recently had surgery, and that's put her into early menopause. And she's now noticing a lot of the side effects that come just with being menopausal. And I think that many women over the age of 40 that are starting to be in premenopause and then being in menopause, a lot of the things that they're attributing to age are actually related to menopause and related to the health, these stages in health. So the big thing for me now with our growth partner, we just recently brought on a growth partner, a marketing firm that's actually invested in us as well. And it has opened our eyes to so many different things because, like I said, I was targeting everybody. I think I was just going after whoever's in pain, whoever's got a knee injury, whoever has this, whoever has that. And it was the wrong way of approaching it. I think being concise and understanding who our target demographic and target consumer is, understanding the target consumer in that aspect has been like night and day for us. We have two ideal customer profiles right now. One is that 34 to 44-year-old woman who's dealing with those growing pains and those premenopausal pains, but she's also gifting. And her mother or her grandmother or her aunt is also our second ideal customer profile. And that person is 55 to 60 plus. And we've identified the first person to be able to buy for themselves, to be able to enjoy their active lifestyle and raise their kids, but they're also gifting. They also realize that they're older females in their family are also dealing with similar conditions, but for different reasons. being able to identify these ideal customer profiles has been a game changer for us. It's forced me to stop talking to the 25-year-old athlete, and our products work great for that person, but it's not really who our target is. And so that took us some time. I think going through 2022, 2023, selling body care and beauty products and thinking that was, a certain ideal customer profile that was not really the one that we were targeting, that we should have been targeting from the wellness perspective. We've been able to laser that in now over the last year or so, or last 6 months or so. And that's what I'm really excited about going into next year, because our direct-to-consumer model online is able to speak to that consumer directly. And then now also understanding who our retail partners should be. Prior to that, I wanted to be in every single store, in every grocery store, every pharmacy, every natural health food store, from small to big. And it's not the focus. It wasn't the correct focus. And so now I feel understanding those profiles helps us market better and market more strategically and make sure that our efforts are not in vain. So yeah, that's definitely something we've identified now, and we're very excited about next year implementing a lot of these strategies going forward in terms of how we're targeting that consumer.
That's awesome. Yeah, no one size fits all. And I think for a lot of businesses, that is the hardest part, is just finalizing who your ideal customer is. Who are you going after?
So true. It's so true. It's so painful too, because I think when you go through it, and being a small emerging brand, you have limited budgets. You don't have the budget to be able to say, hey, let's try this, let's try that. No, you don't have it. You might burn through 10 grand here or 10 grand there. And that was your annual budget. You blew in 2 months, and then that's the end of it. Yeah. Being more concise now, understanding that. One piece of advice that I can give any other entrepreneur or any other brand coming up is be very concise with your dollar and with what you're targeting. If you don't have an idea of who's going to be buying your product, you shouldn't be selling your product. You have to have an understanding of who that target is and how you can speak to that target before spending $1 on even developing your product, developing your strategies going forward. You have to know who you're selling.
Yeah, that's some words of wisdom coming from you. There's a small example I would share. I was watching this video of somebody completely unrelated, but these guys on TikTok, they're like, how do we validate that we can sell this product? They just start marketing the product and see how many people like the videos, and then they're like, oh, if these many people are liking it, let's set up a Shopify store and sell that product. So finding their audience before finding the product and how they're going to go about it. So kind of like what you were saying, talking about how many products do you have? I was on your website, I was looking at a few of them. Could you tell us how many SKUs do you have today and what different product lines you have?
Yeah, definitely. So there's 2 main focus groups of products right now. So one is pain relief, and there's 4 SKUs under that line. Soon to be 5. We're going to be releasing another one probably in February. And then on the body care side, there are 7 or 8 products. We're playing around with what we're going to be keeping or not. But all of them have our terpene blend in them. So even our body care stuff, which is a face oil, a face spray, some bath products, like we call them wellness soaps. They all have that wellness perspective to them, and that's really nice when it comes to that, because we deal with inflammation control with our pain relief, and that same terpene blend that we're using is in our face oil. So women that have fine lines, puffiness, redness, different things like that, they find that the face oil is helping, with that, but along with some of the other core and key ingredients. That's what's really nice about what we do. From the beginning, we really focused heavily on the body care, and I felt that we missed the mark a little bit on that, because we were so focused and we were being categorized as beauty. So a lot of places that had a beauty section, these products we put into beauty, they had a higher price point. The consumer didn't really understand, just from reading the packaging, why that price point was there. And then they attributed it to a beauty product. And if anyone knows, the beauty consumer is a very hard consumer to change. Once they have what they like, it's almost impossible to get them to change. And that was a challenge that we had initially. And I told Sonia, I'm like, these products are fantastic, but we're not marketing them in the correct manner. And I feel that now with the launch of our pain relief SKUs in the last year, and really just the last few months, for the first year we had our therapy pain roll-on, but now in the last few months we've released 3 new pain relief SKUs to line up with the national rollout that we're having with a very large pharmacy rollout. And so I think with the introduction of our pain relief, it did some of the explaining for our body care products, where people are like, okay, they were able to connect the dots a little bit. This has pain relief and anti-inflammatory benefits, and now it makes sense that this is what these other products offer. So it took a little bit of learning, obviously. Again, it gets back to really understanding your target and understanding what retail you're in, what section you're going to be placed in, and how well you're going to perform there based on how you're marketing and how you're presenting your brand. And that's a challenge that we had initially with the body care stuff, but now, my idea initially when we released the new pain relief stuff, I told Sonia, I'm like, you know what, body care's done. Let's not get into the beauty. She's like, no. She's like, we haven't marketed it correctly. And it's funny now with our growth part, we're doing a very aggressive direct-to-consumer e-commerce focus now going forward in the last few months and then really into 2025. And now we see the sales are up now for all the other products. So it totally makes sense on why we had the challenges in retail and why we had the challenges with the consumer. It was about them understanding what those products were. So I think that we're going to keep both sides now. Our body care is performing well in certain segments. Our pain relief is performing well in all segments that it's in right now. It's a bit of an easier thing. You have pain, use this product. You don't have pain anymore. It's very easy to explain. Whereas the body care, there are different benefits that you're going to be explaining to the end consumer. Definitely a challenge that we had to get through. But yeah, so total is 4 on the pain relief. I think about 7 or 8 on the body care side. And looks like for now, the body care side will be staying due to the actual data that's coming back in from us, from all of our channels. But yeah, it's very exciting that we're able to offer 2 lines.
Very interesting. And where can people go and buy these products? What channels are available to them?
Yeah, so first thing I'll say is naturemary.com. Naturemary.com is our website. It is the best place to be able to browse our entire catalog. What you'll notice is that select retailers, they'll either have the body care or the pain relief or just a combination of a few. So yeah, our buyers can definitely take a look at our website. And then outside of that, we're in all major brands, retailers across the country. Calgary in specific, in particular, we are in Blush Lane, Calgary Co-op, Community Natural, Amaranth. We're in some select Sobeys right now. We just signed the national Sobeys deal. So we'll be pulling out of the local program for Sobeys, but we'll be in every single pharmacy under the Sobeys banner across the country. So that's Sobeys, Safeway, Thrifties, IGA, Lawton's Drugs in the Maritime. So that's very exciting for us. National launches are really exciting because we're able to now direct our consumer to any of their banners and say, hey, find us in the pharmacy. So that's what's really exciting. But yeah, throughout Vancouver, tons of small places, spud.ca, throughout Ontario, the Healthy Planets, and all those locations. And then further east, we're in a lot of different places. Again, if you don't want to buy online, you can go to our store locator on our website, and that'll give you a big list of close to 500 or 600 locations. It needs to be updated. There's more than that now, but we're available all over the place.
That's awesome. And we'll add all those links for those who are interested to check it out in the show notes as well. So are you also white labeling your products to other smaller locations? Was that, or did I just misread it?
Yeah, no. So we used to offer that service with our body care. We've now been receiving a lot of interest for our pain relief. And it's really been more for gym franchises that want to have their own pain relief option that they have. So we are re-exploring the white label option again. Right now, I'm in brand building mode. So I want to build our brand, I want that to be recognizable. But I don't say no to any business. We had an oil and gas company recently so we have a small 10 mil headache roller called Headies. And they wanted to give 600 of them to their staff, but they wanted their label on it. So I said, that's no problem. I said, we can do that for you guys, but we're going to put our brand on it too. So we put their brand on it, and then we put our brand on it as well. So it was a bit of a co-branded option that we had, but we are exploring some opportunities with some large gym and training franchises that really want to bring in the products. It is back on the table. I said no to it for a while, but I think anything to help the numbers move and put the numbers on the books, again, that's what I'm focused on. But there's definitely some options in for sure.
That's awesome because when I was reading about it, I found that very interesting. So I just wanted to check in with you. So now you're expanded to international locations as well. What has allowed for that expansion? How did that opportunity came about, and how hard it is to manage that kind of expansion?
I touched on it a little bit before. I have a wholesale background. I was B2B focused for 14 years with my previous business before I exited that in 2018. And, all I understood was export. I knew export all day long, or I thought I knew export in terms of just being able to move a container of inventory somewhere. We were very blessed in the end of 2021, 2022, I believe it was, with Calgary Economic Development. I worked very closely with CED, and Calgary Economic Development has a program called the Trade Accelerator Program, TAP. And actually tonight we're nominated for the Exporter of the Year Award, and I'll be headed to that award show tonight. But getting back to what we learned through that program was really understanding export and understanding what it takes to build a successful export enterprise. And so for my previous experience, I thought I knew it all, and I thought you're ready to get into a market. And I did. I think I was okay with it because I wasn't promoting my own brand. I was promoting commodity, a Dell laptop or an Apple iPad. It's a globally recognized brand, very easy to sell. I think when you're building your own brand where nobody knows who you are, there's a lot of groundwork that's required before you enter a new market. We entered India in 2021, and it was premature. We thought, okay, we've got some great products, we've got some momentum, we've got some people on the ground, and it was a disaster. It didn't work out well at all because when you've got to have marketing, you have to have a strategy going forward. And what we learned through the TAP program was really understanding having partners in those countries where you're interested in exporting, but really doing a lot of the groundwork and understanding what it takes to be successful there. The rules of engagement in one country may be completely different from another country. Are you doing a SWOT analysis? Are you doing, are you analyzing the market? Are you talking to government? Are there, different requirements for your products for compliance in those markets? There's a lot of things that you have to be prepared for. And preparing, when we entered India, when we first started that program, we were not ready. I thought it was okay, it's just as easy to send some product over and start selling it. And it was a disaster. It didn't work out well at all. What I have learned since then, though, is really being calculated and methodical in your efforts. I thought certain countries in Asia were a good fit. We received LOIs, and then we really had to analyze those letters of intent and really see if it was a fit. Do we have a marketing budget to be able to grow the brand or make the consumer aware of what we're doing? That takes a long time. And I feel that if you don't have a strong presence at home and then growing slowly and methodically, like I said, with strategic partners, it's a disaster waiting to happen. You're going to produce a bunch of inventory. You're going to ship it off. You're going to have problems with customs. You're going to have problems with compliancy on labels, on ingredients. There's so many things that you're not prepared for. Going through the Calgary Economic Development TAP program was instrumental in our growth in terms of being able to be focused on what it takes to be successful in export and international growth. And that's what we really were focused on last year. And that's why I'm really excited about next year, because we have some pending deals with South Korea, Vietnam. We're probably going to re-enter India again, but strategically this time. We received an LOI from Brazil. So there's a lot of international markets right now that have an appetite for Canadian-made products, particularly natural. So yeah, we're kind of going through that now, but be prepared. Do your homework. Make sure you have boots on the ground and understand. Again, going through Calgary Economic Development, both on the provincial side and then all the way to national with other government partners, has been just instrumental in our growth.
First and foremost, congratulations on receiving the award. I've been following your journey. You are doing some phenomenal work. So more power to you and your team. Keep up with the great work. If I have to just double click on that, was there one decision that you made or one moment or one instance which completely changed the direction for Naturemary? Does one come to your mind? It's one single decision.
Yeah. So I think understanding the shift from, traditional retail, brick and mortar is fantastic. I think what I didn't understand when we first started was what it actually took to have a budget. And marketing is one part of it. You have listing fees, you have product placement. There's a lot of fees that come with that essentially eat up your margin. And an average distributor is going to take 30% from you. Then you have a logistics cost of roughly 8 to 10% that's going to be on top of that to get the inventory to their warehouses. And then the retailers want their chunk. The retailers want either some free product, or they want an intro deal, or they want a listing fee. And all of these things come with an extreme cost, not only monetary, but also time and effort and building a strategy. One thing that we learned is that we were not necessarily able to speak to our end consumer being in retail. It's fantastic to get in retail. It's great to land that big whale of a distributor or that big whale of a national account. But are you ready for that? And I think that's what our aha moment was, is that getting into retail in the beginning, I thought, okay, get on the shelf and you're good to go. They're going to buy it. If you build it, they will come. Not necessarily the truth at all. You have to make that consumer aware of that. So if you don't have a budget in place to, first of all, be able to afford the rollout into national retail or even into distribution, and then to be able to support that with marketing and all of these things, I think our biggest thing is that if we focus on building our core audience and our core group, whether that's direct to consumer, whether that's markets, whatever that happens to be, you've got to build up enough of a following. That following is going to follow you into that retailer. And that was a big mistake that we made initially, was that we thought that you get on the shelf, you're going to get off the shelf, and you're good to go. And that was a very expensive lesson for us. We hired endless amounts of brokers, and we listened with all the big distributors. And it was a big challenge for us. It was a big aha kind of learning moment that, wow, we should take one step back and analyze what we're doing here. So yeah, I think one piece of advice that I would give anybody is make sure you have your core cult following, that no matter what you do, they're going to buy from you, they're going to follow you. And only then, when you grow that to a large enough audience where you're able to either put budgets in place through either sales, or you've got a good amount of investment behind you, that you're able to market, and you've got some good PR behind you. I think that's really the main focus. So that was really the biggest thing for us, is really understanding how the structure worked. And that's why I was really happy that the first few years, the first year and a half especially, the 2020, 2021, 2022, coming out of COVID, it forced us to understand what the game was. And then, because you can only play the game as well as you understand the game. And so once you understand the game, you're able to play it a little bit better. So that's what, again, I keep talking about next year and what we learned this year, but that's what we're really excited about, is that we're able to take and absorb all this data and all this knowledge and to be able to execute properly now going forward.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that for that reason. This saying comes to mind is don't find customers for your products, but rather find products for your customers.
Absolutely. It's so true.
So just a note on that. You mentioned your strategy in India failed when you first started there. Are there other moments, perhaps failures, perhaps just setbacks that then set you up later for success? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah. So again, touching on the point of retail, I think that was the biggest eye-opening thing for me was that you just don't know. You just don't know. And I think that I started a thing called the CPG circle more recently. And this came out of a need for other founders. What I was noticing was that many founders were making some of the same errors and investing the money in the wrong places, much like we did in the beginning. And what I realized was that there needs to be some awareness around what CPG is and what the expectations are from both the brand as well as the partners that you're working with.
Where I want to go next is I was on your LinkedIn. You make a lot of posts on your LinkedIn, and one that caught my attention was a shoe story. That's the note I made, and it's a picture of the shoes that you use for your warehouses and the different set of shoes that you have when you're going into your meetings and how you switch back and forth. Can you shed some light about what am I talking about, and what is life of an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. So I'm so happy that you brought up that post because that was one of my favorites for sure. Yeah. So in that post, you'll see my dress shoes, which are my nice, fancy, shiny Hugo Boss shoes. And then you'll see my Adidas sneakers that are dirty and dusty and nasty. And just jumping into the LinkedIn thing first, I use my LinkedIn portal not only for my own motivation and sometimes just airing out what's bothering me that day or what the life of an entrepreneur truly looks like. I'm very transparent when it comes to my LinkedIn. It's full of lessons and wins. It's not just one-sided. Many times you'll see entrepreneurs only posting one aspect of their life, but I really wanted to highlight that aspect of what entrepreneurship truly is. In that picture, you'll see I had switched between those shoes numerous times that day, and I had meetings. I had a lunch at Cactus Club, and then I had meetings downtown, and then I had to run back to the office because one of my staff wasn't there to help process one of the orders. So I had to put my warehouse shoes back on and start getting dirty and packing boxes. And then I had to jump back in my shoes for another meeting I had in another place, and then come back to the warehouse and do it over and over again. And I thought that post, it perfectly highlighted what entrepreneurship is. There's never one set day where everything's going to be the same, where I get dressed in the morning in nice clothes and then I'm not going to be in my jeans in the warehouse later on in that day. And I think that was a perfect way of highlighting what entrepreneurship is. There are constant challenges. They're constantly wearing many hats. I'm the president of this company, but I'm also the guy that's cleaning the floors and shoveling the driveway outside, the walkway outside. And that's just, it's part of it. And I think that's I think that entrepreneurs are a very special breed. You have to be able to be not only willing to adapt, but to be able to adapt. And I think that at the drop of a dime, things change, things are going to happen, and you have to be able to put those hats on. When I first initially started at our last warehouse, when we started scaling, I had brought in the warehouse manager, I brought in the shipping manager, I brought all the people that I needed. But you know what? That grunt work and that leg work, that has to be done by you. If you're not pulling that weight and being that example for everybody else around you. And listen, someday for sure it's going to change and we might be able to delegate more and be hands-on less. That's part of the journey and that's what we're all striving for at the end of the day. But yeah, that post definitely highlighted both aspects of the glamorous side of entrepreneurship and also the grunt work and what it really takes to roll up your sleeves, get down and dirty and get the work done. And oftentimes people see only one side of that. And I thought that post was a great example of highlighting. My feet were killing me that day. I pulled off my dress shoes, I put back on my warehouse shoes and vice versa. And yeah, I thought it was a great representation of exactly what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thank you for shedding some light on there because I found that really beautiful and just really goes to show life of an entrepreneur.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Where I want to go with that is because you lead a team today and you're so busy and you wear multiple hats. For those out there who want to take on entrepreneurship, what are the must do or must not do things, if any, you can share with them?
I think having an idea and having vision obviously is going to be the first thing. You have to be able to, you can't be scared of hard work. That's the first thing. I speak at many universities now to aspiring business leaders, kids that are coming out of marketing classes and entrepreneurship classes. And, I tell them all the same thing. Vision and mission is, probably one of the more important things, but you have to have grit. You have to have the willingness to be able to, again, get dirty and be able to put in the time and effort. Many times you'll see people that want to launch a website or want to launch a product. They don't really understand what they're getting into. Another thing that I like to highlight too is that you're going to hear a million no's. You're going to hear no's everywhere you go, whether it's raising money, whether it's somebody that wants to list your product, whatever it happens to be. You're going to hear no 1,000 times, a day, a week, a month. Don't let it dissuade you. Don't let it push you back and say, hey, you know what, maybe this is not for me. We hear no's every day, whether it's an investor, whether it's a retailer, whether it's a distributor. I heard 5 no's today. Distributors that I'm trying to enter the OTC space in the US. Do I let it bother me? No. It's just you get back on your horse and you keep riding. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that you have to have an appetite for those lows, because as an entrepreneur, the highs are amazing. You're incredible. You're floating on cloud 9 and nothing can shake you. And then the lows are very low. And sometimes you feel alone. You oftentimes will question your own sanity and question your own mission. Why did I do this? And why did I sign up to do this? You just got to keep pushing forward. And I think that the market's going to tell you whether you have a winner or not. Your core customers are going to tell you whether you have a winner or not. So you'll be able to identify that relatively quickly, unless, of course, you want to be just blind to it and not really looking. But if you have the willingness, if you have the hunger, and if you have the ability to be able to take punches, the way that entrepreneurship is going to it's going to kick you in behind over and over again. But if you're able to get up, dust off, and get back up and keep pushing forward, then you're going to be built for it. And that's what I tell every single one of these aspiring entrepreneurs that I speak to, is that you have to have the guts and you have to have the appetite to be able to do it, because it's not for everybody. I think some of the stats are 80% of startups will fail in the first year, or 70% the first year, 80% the second year, and then within that 5 years, 95% are going to be gone. We're approaching our 5-year mark right now, and we're going stronger than ever. So I feel that we made it. We've got a lot of challenges ahead of us for sure. With that, you can't be standing still either. You have to continue to innovate. You have to continue to bring something to market that people are going to be interested in. And then service is a need. People have to have a reason why they're going to buy your product. It could be a good drink product or a food product on the market, and then it's going to get replaced in a couple of months with a new chip brand or a new brand. But what forces you to stand out? And again, you've just got to have the resiliency to keep pushing forward and not take no for an answer.
Yeah, I completely wholeheartedly agree with you. So thank you for that. 2 things come to my mind. It's A, there's no guts, no glory.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then B is just a no is just not the end of the road. A no just means go back, try again, go on the drawing board, figure out what's wrong.
It's no for now. It's no for now. And it's funny, Robbie, when you say that, because oftentimes the no now has almost always led to something better, and allowing universal energy to flow, because it is flowing as much as you don't want to hear it. Some people don't want to hear it. Some people are like, oh, no, that's kooky, whatever. But it's true. There's a time and place for everything. Everything has a time. And the no today, all the no's that we've ever received have always led to something better. I'll use the example of us now opening our own GMP facility. Sonia made a post on this on her LinkedIn recently, and it was about how many times people told her, no, you can't do it. It's too expensive. It'll never work. And she proved every single person wrong by doing what she's just done, what we've just done. And again, that's a testament to hard work, focus, and determination, and not taking no for an answer. Just because somebody else says no, that's no for them. That's not a no for me. That's a no for you for whatever reason. And you know what? Maybe it was the right no. Maybe it wasn't. I can't fight that. I can't force that. I'm a firm believer in attracting. I don't chase anymore. I do no chasing anymore. I attract everything and everything has its time. And it served us very well. And as much as some people were like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm a very firm believer in knowing that everything has a time and a place, and you just have to trust the process. Keep trusting the process. Keep pushing forward.
Yeah, 100%. I had a note there of something that you say, which you just mentioned, the constant energy flow, right? So you really touched on that. And I believe in that. The energy flows around us, and good and bad. And it's up to you what you want to harness.
And totally. And again, we're a receptacle. You can hear something bad, and you have full control on how you can take that. I can sit there and dwell on it and then allow my energy to shift. Or I can say, you know what? Hey, brush your shoulder off and move on to the next one. And then if it's meant to be, you can come back to it. But yeah, no, I'm a firm believer in that energy flow, and everything has its time.
Yeah, 100%. What I want to check with you is, because you've been in the business world for a long time, you have been running Naturemary very successfully. If you have to give yourself a 20-year-old Kapil an advice based on all your life experiences now, what is your advice going to be and why?
Move faster, move harder, and be more determined and actionable with your efforts. With my previous business, I think the top year that I hit $5 million in revenue in 2015 with my previous business, Robbie, I thought I made it. And I was like, and I took my foot off the gas. I was taking fancy vacations, buying gold Rolexes, big Lexus trucks. I bought a big house, and I felt that I made it. And while I did, and while I was ultra successful with my previous venture, I realized that there was no purpose driven behind what I was doing. And because of that, I didn't put my energy in the right places. And I felt that with that momentum that I had in my 30s, in my early to mid 30s, if I continue to push myself even harder and harder, I feel that I don't know where I would be today. And the biggest thing that I would tell my 20 or 30-year-old self is keep grinding, keep pushing. Don't let off the gas. And there will be a day that I'll let off the gas in some capacity. I think I'm always going to be, I don't want to be, my next venture for sure is going to be in the VC world for sure. I want to invest in other people's ideas and other people's dreams, but I'm not going to do it in the traditional sense. I'm not going to do it in the traditional, a lot of the VC foundation and the structure right now is not, it's not conducive to actually helping startups. But I think that knowing what I know now, just not letting off the gas. I think telling my 20 or 30, that's funny. My son's 12 now, and I'm so proud of him because he's gaming, but he's also designing his own games. He's monetizing his games. He's selling merch. One day he came to me and says, "Dad, can I have $10 so I can promote this new game that I did on an ad?" And then right away I asked him, I'm like, okay, what research have you done to your target demographic? Who's the consumer? Who are you targeting? What ROI are you expecting from this investment? I have no problem giving you the money, but you have to be able to give me some of these answers. And to see what he's like, how his mind is working at 12 years old compared to where I was at maybe 25, where he is now at 12. Being in the technological age now, and how fast things are moving for them, it's great. It's awe-inspiring, honestly. And then I have other nephews that are in the late 20s, early 30s, and I see that they're coasting
along, yeah.
And I'm like, guys, this is not the time to coast. You need to push yourself as hard as you can. I said, you've got the energy, you've got the spirit. Just keep pushing, man. Yeah, honestly, the advice that I'd give my 20 or 30-year-old self is work harder. Keep pushing as hard as you can, so that by the time you are 40, you've got a nice nest egg. And you then do have the ability to be able to do whatever you want, because you don't want to be in a position where you're late 30s or even mid 30s still trying to figure it out. I think if you can do all that in your 20s and then be structured in your 30s, and then after that, life's great. You're able to invest. You're able to kind of just do whatever you want to do. But yeah, I would tell 20-year-old couple to work harder, bro. Keep pushing. You're not working hard enough.
That's a great advice, and all of us can learn from that. Kapil, where do you find inspiration? Are there any books? Are there any documentaries, movies that you would recommend to myself and the listeners?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I find a lot of inspiration. I'm a big hip hop guy, so I find a lot of inspiration in a lot of inspirational hip hop. Not so much the stuff that you hear on the radio, but a lot of underground artists that I really love. In terms of books, I read a lot. I'm really more into the art of negotiation. There are a couple controversial books that I do read that people would be on
Let's
the fence.
hear it.
So 48 Laws of Power is a big book for me. I love the historical analysis of some of the things that have played out in history. I'm a firm believer if we look backwards, we can have an idea of what our future is going to look like. So I have a lot of books in that realm for sure. That I read. Music for me is really my biggest thing. Like I was saying, I am my own number one fan. And I do that for numerous reasons. And again, it sounds egotistical, but it's not. I look within to find my energy. I find in other places, a lot of entrepreneurs really excite me. But I look at I look at music producers, and I look at not only forming a beat or creating some piece of music, but also understanding the structure of their business, owning their masters, their royalties and residuals, understanding a lot of aspects of what it takes to build something and make something, and then also make it last. So I'm a big believer of being able to control what you do. And I think that gets back to the manufacturing part of it, in terms of being able to control aspects of that, where I know what the final product is coming out, and I know what I have that's going to market. And again, the residuals, it's like the retention of the customer. I look at the same way as a music producer with somebody else is producing a consumer packaged goods. I just find a lot of that inspiration in a lot of my music, and a lot of looking inward and saying, what can I do to be better? And what can I do to make the world a better place? And that's what I'm going to be putting out there. And that's why my LinkedIn is so powerful for me, is that, I'm so happy that people can take something from it, but I do it for me first. It's a motivational tool that I use to say, hey, you know what? Today wasn't a good day. Today was a really crappy day, but here's a lesson that I learned from today. And let me share that. And I do it for myself first, but I'm so blessed and so happy that other people can find benefit.
Yeah, I'm glad that you share all that knowledge and wisdom in there, because I'm one of those guys who find inspiration out of there. And I'm sure there's many more like me. I love that book, 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I have, I think, 2 copies of it for some reason.
I have 2 copies of it as well.
Who would you say is your favorite artist before we move on?
Artist in terms of music?
Yeah.
I'm a big down south Memphis fan. So 36 Mafia was a big group of mine. DJ Paulo in particular is one of the mastermind producers and owners of the record label Hypnotized Minds. That's a big thing. I grew up on Tupac, so Tupac's very inspirational for me. I like free thinkers. There's a guy named Big Crit out of Mississippi. Again, he's a free flow thinker, but motivational power. A lot of great things over there. So yeah, no, I've got a huge music catalog, but yeah, those top 3-4 artists for sure are definitely my favorite.
That's lovely. Thank you for sharing that. What would you put on a billboard for the entire world to see? What is your message going to be and why?
Good question. I see you. You are heard. I think oftentimes people go through life and people just don't listen to them. People don't take the time to just listen. Oftentimes we're just talking, we're moving throughout our busy life. I see you. We see you. And I think that's a big moniker that I use for our brand because Sonia, oftentimes going through the medical system was never heard. It's always, oh, this is the problem. Here's the diagnosis. Here's the solution or the remedy. And nobody takes the time to listen. We have customers now that are buying our products that are emailing us and they're telling us how their products are changing their lives. And oftentimes, you know what? Companies will be like, oh, yeah, leave us a review and oh, we appreciate that. No, I give them Sonia's contact information. Sonia takes the time to talk to them. There was a lady yesterday, she bought a pain oil and she suffers from bad sciatica nerve pain. And then she came back and she bought 4 more pain oils and she bought our pain cream as well. And so she messaged our customer service saying, hey, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to leave it at that. I want you to talk to our founder, Sonia, our CEO, and why she started this company. Sonia had a half an hour call with her yesterday, just a random call with a customer. And it changed that woman's life because the only thing that she said is that nobody takes the time to listen to me. Nobody's ever asked me, even her doctor, shooing her out of the office. Here's a prescription, go fill it, and I'll see you in a month and let's see what happens. So I think that billboard would say that, yeah, I see you and I hear you because you know what, that's what people need.
Yeah, that's a fantastic message and a fantastic story, and all of us could take that home. So thank you for that. Kapil, what can we expect from you and Naturemary over the next couple of years? What do you guys have in works?
Yeah, so like I said, scientific study right now is our biggest thing. We feel that we're just getting started with topical analgesic and over-the-counter remedies. We have some amazing scientific studies and research that's happening right now for some very common problems that we're going to be able to help solve. So over the next few years, we're really hopeful that all of our studies go well. We're doing animal studies and human testing here in the next year. We've got some great partners. We brought on some PhDs and some other people, some chemists and some other biologists. So we're very excited about that. We have an exit strategy. In the next 5 years, I hope to be able to pass this on to somebody that can build it even larger. I hope that they share our mission. So we're going to be very critical in terms of who we pass this on to. But we do have a 5 to 7 year exit strategy for the company. We're right on target, right on track right now. But in the interim, I think, you know what, just continue to bring wellness to the world, making sure that our target and our people that we're here to help are getting the attention and the help that they need. And that's my immediate mission right now. I'm just focused on making sure that we can bring a world of pain relief to everyone that we can. And then from there, let's see where our mission goes. But wellness is our first focus and it always will be.
That's lovely, Kapil. I had a blast just chatting with you, learning about what you guys do, how you go about your business. There's a lot of inspiring and actionable tidbits, and I'm sure the listeners would be able to take that home and implement that in their lives. Thanks once again for your time. Before I let you go, any final words for myself and the listeners?
No, not really. I think, you know what? I think from the entrepreneurs that are out there, just stick to your goals, keep pushing, stay focused. To brands, entrepreneurs, and then building a brand is one thing. And then just the end consumer. I just want everyone to know that they're heard and that they're seen. And I think a big driving mission is oftentimes, you know, that's missed on. And I hope that we're delivering on our mission statement and our promise. I feel that we are. And I'm just excited to see where the story continues to unfold. And the pages keep going day by day. And the next chapter now is 2025, and we're very excited.
That's awesome, Kapil. More power to you and the Naturemary brand. I'm excited to see what you guys are able to accomplish. Thank you again for your time today.
Thank you so much.